Hey, good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to an exciting, great show, new show here on WSTU 1450. I'm Tom Platania, and the new show you're listening to is Comfort Time Live. Now, Comfort Time Live, we've been on WPSL for 5 years, and we are excited to join the cast and crew here at WSTU. We got the mic behind the scenes here playing the Wizard of Oz for me.
Oh, yeah. Don't look behind the curtain.
No, really, you don't want to look behind the curtain. No, I'm teasing.
Get out of here, little doggy.
Oh, well, hey, let's tell you a little bit about what Comfort Time Live is. Now, I'm sure we do have some listeners this morning that have heard of Comfort Time Live and have perhaps listened to the show on WPSL before, maybe on the web. We have a lot of listeners in Martin and the St. Lucie County. Well, Comfort Time Live is part of the Treasure Coast Radio Network. Now, Treasure Coast Radio Network is a group of talk shows that help to educate listeners, homeowners, the would-be consumer, on what questions to ask, what answers to accept, and where to find information about anything to do with your home or life in general. For instance, your electric bills. Let's say you're going to use a contractor that's going to come in and help look at what your electric issues are or concerns. But as a consumer, we want to make sure that you understand the right questions to ask. And when you're given an answer, well, what the acceptable answer is and where you can go to validate that information from the person, the company, the business that is in front of you. Now, we hear on the radio and the TV and the news and whatnot, we hear all the scams and the issues out there. And I tell you, when you're in a business and that is what you do as your, I guess you would say, career, even as a crook, if you're a career criminal, that's what you're good at. And us as consumers, we can't always expect to outsmart these guys. But that's what we do here at Comfort Time Live, is we do our best to bring expert guests on our show to educate us about these concerns and issues that we have out in the industry. We've had on our show over the years, we've had Florida Power and Light, we've had H&R Block, we've had all the building inspectors, we've had all the air conditioning manufacturers, we've had lawyers, attorneys, doctors, real estate brokers, anything you can think of. And we've brought these individuals on Comfort Time Live based on our listeners asking and saying, hey, I'm looking to get some information because I'm going to be doing this. Can you have an expert guest come on the show and talk about, like, it's home inspections? Or, like, let's say you have floods in your home and maybe your water heater breaks. Now, notice I didn't say hot water heater because it doesn't heat hot water. It's a water heater. So when you have floods in your home or you have fire or mold damage, we want to be able to talk to the experts that can help us understand what questions we should ask, what direction we should take, so that we can better prepare and better plan. Now, with that being said, we have a caller on the line who happens to be one of those experts. We have David Kays with United Water Restoration. David, how you doing this morning, buddy?
I'm doing good. How's it going?
It's doing great. Hey, thanks a lot for jumping in there. I know you're probably extremely busy, or I know, are you using the phone in the limo?
Yeah, I'm cruising around, just talking on the phone today.
Hey, well, first off, Dave, I want to say that caller, the listener from WPSL the other day, they contacted me back, and, man, they could not say enough good things about it. It was Steve that went out there, right?
Yes, I had my supervisor, Steve, from Port St. Lucie, go out for that job.
She was absolutely... For listeners listening, you're listening to Comfort Time Live. We have David Kays here with United Water Restoration. If you have any questions or comments, you can be more than happy to call in at 772-220-9788. That's 9788 is actually WSTU. So 220-WSTU. But we had a listener who was looking for some information on mold or moisture or water damage, and she listened to the show that we had on WPSL with United Water Restoration and found a lot of the information extremely helpful. Contacted United Water Restoration the next day. They sent someone out within 45 minutes of the phone call. It's unheard of. And I tell you, Dave, she was just flabbergasted at the service and the knowledge that Steve had.
Thank you. She was a very nice lady. So she was very nice, very polite. We tried to help her out the best that we could, and I'm glad that she was satisfied and called back in.
Yeah, no, she was just, she couldn't say enough when she talked to me. She said how friendly you were. And, the important thing is the technology that you guys use in order to find the issues. Now, what that was is her window had a soft spot in the drywall in one of the corners. And she had told me about it. And I said, well, we have United Water Restoration coming on. That'd be a great question to present to them. And so we did. And, you guys have the infrared cameras and the moisture meters that detect, how bad it is and how much moisture content. And it was, so it's there's no guesswork. There's no opinion involved. And I like that.
Yeah, it was, unfortunate with her. She had a really insurance policy. Yeah, the one that didn't have no water coverage or damage or anything like that. It came this cover for fire and hurricane.
Oh, so that didn't help her out too much.
Right, but she was nice. I mean, we showed her a lot of different people. She was very adamant about it. So,
Awesome. Now, United Water Restoration, you guys are located in how many areas in Florida?
We are located all throughout Florida on the East Coast and West Coast. I believe there's 12 locations now.
12. Wow, that's awesome. And then, with the Church of Coast Radio Network, we cover everywhere from Melbourne all the way down to North Palm Beach. So it's great that, and we're really proud to have you guys as part of the Church of Coast Radio Network to help educate our listeners. And if any listeners out there, Dave's got to go back to work, but we're going to have United Water Restoration back on our show again because we have a whole list of questions from our listeners from WPSL about the show. So we're going to most likely have them back on again to help answer a lot of those questions. But you can always, Dave, what's the phone number that they can give United Water Restoration a call if they ever have any concerns?
They can call us at 1-800. Hold on one second. I don't know the number. I'll have the number for you.
That's all right. I'll make sure we get it over to the consumers because we actually have some commercials playing for you on the show today. So we'll have the phone number on there for listeners.
1-800-743-2064.
All right, perfect. Well, Dave, hey, listen, I really thank you for taking time out of your busy work schedule to just kind of chat with us real quick, and we're going to love to have you on here and do a whole show.
Yeah, looking forward to it. Thank you very much, Tom.
All right, Dave, take care, buddy.
Take care. Bye-bye.
All right. Well, we're going to be talking throughout the show. We're going to be talking a little bit about what Comfort Time Live does and some of the guests we have, but we have a young man in the studio with me here that we're going to be kind of chit-chatting with throughout the program as well. And we have Kirk with Kirkwork is with us here in the studio. Kurt, how you doing, sir?
I'm doing great. How about you, Tom?
I'm doing awesome. It's Kurt Nicky, right?
Yes.
Do you want to?
Actually, Kirkwork is my business. I put on networking events focusing on the construction market.
Okay, all right. So basically, kind of focusing on what we're looking for to help satisfy. Now, Comfort Time Live is not a I want to teach you how to swing the hammer type of thing. To not teach you how to swing the hammer kind of thing. What we're doing is 70-80% of homeowners do not do the work themselves. They prefer to hire someone or find someone to help them. Or, we're doing our taxes, even if it's not home improvement. We're doing our taxes and we're talking about what type of tax credits we have on our home. Those are the kind of questions that we want to help get answered. It's not just a focus show on one thing. It's anything that you can imagine with your home, from if you want to cater a party at your home, or you want to have interior design, or you want to talk about your roof, or you want to talk about an attorney involving estate laws or things of that nature. You call in or give us an email. Now, what you could do is Comfort Time Live has a website, and you can go to comforttimelive.com. You can actually watch and listen to this show anytime because the show plays live on Comfort Time Live. So let's say that you're out of the area, you're up north, you want to listen to the show. You go to comforttimelive.com and you can watch us and hear the audio in the studio. But also, if you missed anything, you can also go to the archives on the right-hand side, and you'll be able to see any of the shows that we have ever done on WPSL and, of course, WSTU. So, but now Kirkwork, you talk about you do networking events. So, what happens at these networking events? What type of individuals come to those networking events?
We get a variety of business owners that come, but we also encourage them to bring their best customers. That's what's focused so that people can really get to know the business owners one-on-one and build relationships with them. Plus, I forgot to mention, they are free, so there's no charge for the business owners or consumers to come to any events. Don't have to pay anything, and that is easy on the budget.
And see, the thing I like about a networking event for things like this, and maybe a lot of homeowners think that networking events are strictly for businesses.
That's true. In fact, a lot of the networking events rarely bring in consumers, but one thing I found that people are going to do business with who they know, like, and trust. And by coming to the events, you get to meet the business owner and talk to them, look them in the eye, shake their hand. I've used a lot of businesses that I met, and the service I get is outstanding because rarely do you get to meet a business owner.
Yeah, it's like thumbing through the yellow pages. I mean, it's so impersonal, and it's like a Russian roulette, and you want to find out, okay, well, who do I choose? Do I look at the one that's got the best, prettiest ad, or, but with a networking event, and plus, you have so many different business opportunities for people to talk to. That, I don't know, maybe you're looking for something in a year or two. You can pick their brain. You can ask them information. And at a networking event, these people are more than willing to open up and tell you stuff. And
we actually have 3 videos of our events, and it is amazing how engaging people are. You won't get people sitting in a corner not talking with each other. They'll be saying, tell me about your business. What do you do?
Yeah, that's why they're there. They're dying to tell people about who they are and what they do. And
yeah, and the businesses that are coming to networking events, they want your business. They want to earn it.
Yeah.
And they appreciate the fact that you're there and you're going to check them out.
And that's important, and that's one thing that we focus on here in Comfort Time Live. And if you'd like to call into the studio if you have any questions or I'm sorry, we still have a caller online. I apologize. We have a John Erickson. John, I apologize for keeping you on hold for so long.
Not a problem, Tom.
How you doing today, sir?
I'm doing fine. How about yourself?
I can't complain.
Probably wouldn't do you any good.
That's true. There's not too many people. Well, I would say there's not too many people that listen to me, but some of them have to be a captive audience because we're live on the radio. So,
right.
So tell us a little bit about yourself, John. What can we help you with?
Well, I'm a solar dealer, and I specialize in a certain niche of the market called thin film solar. So I could talk a little bit this morning about thin film, if you like.
Say that again. What's that word?
Well, thin film.
Thin film.
T-H-I-N and film.
Okay.
It's a specialized type of solar panel. When you think of solar panels, you think of the picture frame type, the crystalline panels.
Yeah, the big bulky
frame.
things that you see on the top of the roofs of people's houses.
They mount on a bracket. The type of solar that I use comes in a roll. It's flexible, and it's called peel and stick because that's exactly what it is.
Oh,
It
wow.
comes with a peel-off adhesive strip on the back side. You unroll it, do the peel-off, roll it back down typically on a metal roof, like a standing seam roof.
Okay.
And there's 2 connectors at the end, and therefore have no penetrations in the roof, no holes for rain to possibly get through.
Now, this
You
can
have a
only be
low-
attached to a metal roof?
Well, yes, metal roof, and there are some applications in flat roofs, such as rubber roofing, like warehouse-type roofing.
Okay.
That is an application also, but the highest and best use is with a metal roof.
Okay. Now, this is my mind going, my thought, the minute I hear you say this is I'm thinking window tint. When the way you say roll it out, I'm thinking that we got this giant roll of window tint and we're rolling it across the.
Yeah, well, it's coming to that. I mean, the technology is rapidly advancing to the point where window panes are now producing electricity.
Unbelievable.
Haven't hit the mainstream yet, but thin film, I became passionate about 4 or 5 years ago, and I was one of the first applications in Florida to use it on a home that I built in Okeechobee, town of Okeechobee. And since then, I'm living in Stewart, and I've done several installations around. But it's different in that it is low profile.
Okay.
It's the thickness
How
of a
thick?
credit card.
Okay, there you go. That was my next question.
Thickness of a credit card. And again, as I said, there's no brackets, there's no penetrations in the roof. All the wire, there's 2 leads on each strip, and all the wiring makes up typically at the ridge of the building. So that becomes the raceway, and it's all covered and protected.
All right.
These panels do have wind load ratings, so
Okay.
they're rated to stay on as long as your metal roof stays on.
All right. Well, we're gonna dabble into that in a little bit more. But we're gonna go ahead and take our first quick break here and hear from some of our sponsors. So, John, can you hold on the line?
I sure can.
All right, beautiful. You're listening to Tom Platania with Comfort Time Live, 772-220-9788. WSTU. We'll be right back.
Elite Electric.
We can do it.
Elite Electric.
There's nothing to it.
Elite Electric.
Ooh, amazing.
Elite Electric.
Boogie, woogie, woogie, woogie. Elite Electric specializes in all of your electrical needs, from security lighting to surge protection and everything in between. How do you think they got their name? Elite Electric. Elite Electric has been family-owned and operated on the Treasure Coast since 1988, and they're recommended by Comfort Time Live. Visit online at eliteelectricandair.com and learn more about their services. Elite Electric. Service today. Proud sponsor of Comfort Time Live every Thursday evening at 6:05 on WPSL 1590. No matter what you want, just pick up your phone, say, come on, Elite.
And we'll get the job done.
We can do it.
Elite Electric.
There's nothing to it.
Elite Electric.
Known for helping you keep that spark, now they'll help you keep cool. Elite Electric and Air, the official air conditioning sponsor of Comfort Time Live, has provided the best in heating and cooling customer service since 1988. If your electric bill is costing you more than 12 cents per square foot under air, you may be overpaying the utility company. Elite Electric and Air can help put that cash back in your pocket. Call Elite Electric and Air with 24-hour service. Dial 340-3797. That's 340-3797.
You are listening to WSTU, Stewart, Jensen Beach, Hope Sound, Martin County's Heritage Station.
All right, we're back. You're listening to Comfort Time Live. I'm Tom Platania. We are a new show here on WSTU, but we're not new to the community. Comfort Time Live has been on the air for over 5 years on WPSL 1590 out of Fort Pierce, and we've focused on educating the community about anything pretty much to do with your home or whatever listeners want to talk about. They send us an email at comforttimelive@gmail.com. That's comforttimelive@gmail.com. Or you can go to our website, comforttimelive.com, and look at all the information that we provide. We have educational information about how to find licenses for businesses that you're going to be working with. We have direct links to all the DBPR websites, all the local FPL information. We're here just basically to help educate and focus on not letting you become a statistic. Now, the great thing about AM radio is that 99% of the listeners are much, much more educated than FM. And I say 99% because I'm in the 1 percentile that's not, myself personally, but maybe I make up that whole 1%. But no, AM listeners are more educated, they're more sound, have a stronger foundation. So we want to be able to help educate them even more. And we feel that our message will be accepted by them a lot more, and that you'll be willing to call in and send us emails and ask us questions, and then we can provide expert guests, like we have John Erickson on the line, expert guests that can talk to us about products that are out there, what is the best way to use them, and how they can help save you money. So, Comfort Time Live, if you'd like to call here in the studio, we're at 772 220 9788. That's 220 WSTU. John, welcome back. Appreciate your patience.
Thank you, Tom.
And you're not driving in a car, are you?
Oh, no.
Okay,
Would never
good,
do
good.
that.
All right, good. So John has a product, and it's I'm still thinking about window tint rolling up on your roof, but it's the size of a credit card, and it takes solar energy and converts it. Right?
That's correct. That's correct. Now, typically, these panels come in two sizes. When you say size of a credit card, it's the thickness of a credit card. But the size of the panels are typically like 15 inches wide and two primary lengths, 18 feet long, and then one half size of 9 feet long.
Okay.
So it has to be specific to certain roofs in its application.
Now, did they come up with this product because, as you said earlier, we're so concerned with the metal roofs? You know, one of the biggest things we're concerned is we don't want any holes or things of that nature. And with the standard type solar systems, we end up creating a lot of holes and things of that nature. Is that the purpose of this, or is it more energy efficient?
Well, there's a couple of answers to that, Tom. I'm a licensed builder. I've been a builder my entire life for between 30 and 40 years. And when I first saw this application, I looked at it not only from an energy saving point, but from a builder's viewpoint. And I thought, oh my gosh, that's the last thing I want to do as a builder is go drill holes in a perfectly good roof and mount a bracket and solar panels.
Yeah, agreed.
And I saw this and I thought, oh my gosh, this is it. Now, in terms of efficiency, they are not as efficient as a crystalline panel simply because they are the thickness of a credit card.
Right.
You use a little different material, so you actually need more roof space in terms of what you're going to generate. Now, if that's not a problem, then I think it's perfect for wind-prone states such as Florida and the Caribbean.
Now, is there any gap between the product and the roof, or is it physically
Nope.
rolled out on the roof
It's
surface?
feeling thick. It's right down flat as a pancake.
All right. Now, what type of wiring devices? What type of wire is hooked up to the sides in order for the energy to be passed through?
Well, all solar panels generate DC power, which is battery, direct current, as you find in a battery, as you find in an automobile or a boat. So it generates DC power, direct current. That has to be fed in wiring down to what we call an inverter, which converts
Right.
the DC power to alternating current, which is the standard current that we use. So some efficiency is lost in that, but it's really fairly simple. The DC comes down to a box, converts it, and then backfeeds the electrical system of your residence or business.
Now, what type of wire itself is used? Is it real thick, like
No.
an electrical wire, or is it more like a thermostat type of wire?
No, it is an electrical wire because DC is extremely high voltage. There's more voltage coming down in the DC, but typically a typical run will be 10 gauge wire. Some of them are 12 gauge wires, which is 12 gauge is standard wiring size in a house.
Right. That's for like an electrical socket or something of along those natures. Okay.
Correct.
And what's the time frame? How long does it take to install something like this? Let's say on a 2,000 square foot home.
Well, that's the beauty of it, and that's another thing I was drawn to as a builder. The installation is just fantastic, and so much cost savings can be made on the installation. Now, again, there aren't a lot of pre-existing roofs that have the right spacing in between and the right configuration to use it. So the best application is in new construction and re-roofs.
Okay.
But installation is a snap. I mean, it's all done on the ground as the panels go up one by one, and as the roofer installs it, the solar goes right with it, and bingo. I mean, you can do it just that fast.
John, what's the number of folks can contact you if they have any questions? Now, do you come out and give a free consultation or estimates on having this done?
Yes, I do, Tom. And one of the great things of the internet these days is if I have an address, I can look up a Google view from from the sky. I can go to the
Isn't
property
that
appraisal
amazing?
site, get a footprint, and I can get your orientation and your exposure from the trees. And I can, without making the first site visit, I can give people a rough idea of how much they can put on their roof and what an approximate cost might be.
It's amazing. I do load and energy calcs nationally for the construction industry myself, and I've been a contractor for 28 years, and I do that myself. In fact, I'm currently working on a building over on the West Coast, and something just didn't seem right about the information the contractor sent over to me. So I Googled it, and it's like I'm standing on the street looking at the building. It's amazing what technology has done for us.
It really is, Tom. I'm excited about it because it's saving us a lot of mileage.
Oh, absolutely. Imagine where we're going to be in 10 years.
Yeah.
What do you think, Kirk? I mean, what do you think we're going to be in 10 years? I mean, can you imagine where we've come in 10 years? The technology. I mean, just voice recognition. These phones that follow your eyes.
I know. And even with photovoltaics and solar, I mean, we're so close. It's so easy today to build a house that's completely off the grid. My wife owns the Stewart School of Music on Canner Highway. We have 10,000 watts on a metal roof.
Wow.
Which we put on during a renovation.
So FPL's paying you guys back.
We've been up 4 years. Finally got a bill down from some time ago. It was over $400. Our lowest bill so far has been $33.
Oh my gosh!
So if I had a little more roof space, I could get it down to net zero and have no bill at all, or even get some money back.
Kirk's got a question for you.
Hey, John, it's so nice to hear about your product. I got a question for you. Do you attend any local business networking events where you can get this out to other businesses that might be in kind of different markets that you work?
I have not to this point.
Okay. Well, the reason
definitely good idea to do, John. I tell you, networking events today are the best and least expensive form of advertisement and communication to the public, and that's what Kirk at Kirkwork does. Is he does networking events.
That sounds great, and I was listening to part of your conversation prior to that, and it does sound great.
Now, how could any of our listeners or John contact you, Kirk, to find out about the networking events?
Two ways. You could give me a call at 772-545-4999. Again, 772-545-4999, or send me a simple email at kirkworkevents with an S at gmail.com. That's kirkworkevents@gmail.com.
Nice.
I'll be glad to send you a link. Let me emphasize that all our events are free. It's free to join. We focus on the construction market, but we also add other businesses too, because they of course have roofs and pipes, and they need services. So the really good thing about this is that people are there to make good business, solid connections.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Now, John, how can folks get in contact with you? A phone number, and do you have an email address?
Absolutely. My phone number is 772-260-5049, and my email is John, JOHN, at jdlsolar.com.
JDL Solar. John at jdlsolar.com.
That's
and
right.
phone number to contact him is 772-260-5049. And John, I tell you, that's what I hopefully in the near future with conversations with Heidi, maybe we can get you on. I'd love to have an entire show to really pick your brain, find out a lot more about your product and your offerings. And I really appreciate you being here. But I think Kirk's got one more question for you.
Well, John, I wanted to share something with you, and we found that a lot of people in the construction market typically don't come to networking events because they feel they got to run home and put a suit and tie on, or a coat and tie.
That's a good point.
One thing that you probably have on a pair of jeans right now.
You're absolutely right.
Oh, that's just great, because we have a rule with our construction networking events. If you show up with a tie or a jacket, you're going back at the car and putting it there, because no one's allowed in.
That's casual networking. We like that.
Whatever you got on is what you wear. We don't want you to run home, so if you're out working on a job site, you just come and feel that everybody else is going to be dressed that way too.
Perfect.
Because we don't like to coat and tie when it comes to this. Everybody's
That
just
sounds great.
casual. Whatever you got on is what you wear.
All right. Well, awesome, John. Well, listen, I really appreciate you calling in today, and I definitely want to find out more about your product. We have a lot of listeners, especially on WPSL over the years, that have questioned us about solar. And we a couple of weeks ago we had Larry Jennings. He calls himself Solar Man. I don't know if you know Larry Jennings.
I do.
You do.
I do. He's a friend of mine, and I listened to it. He did a great job.
Larry is a great guy.
He's a good network.
He's a good man, and I loved having him on the show. And I would love to have you on the show to talk more about the different type of solar energy that you provide.
That sounds great, Tom. I'd love to.
All right, John. Thank you very much, and you have a great day. And I appreciate you calling in Comfort Time Live.
Thanks, so.
All right, now that's what we talk about, ladies and gentlemen, is we educate consumers. We ask the right questions. But as the time goes on and you hear the type of expert guests that we're going to be bringing on the show, do not hesitate to email your questions. You can go to comforttimelive.com, and there's all kinds of links to contact us. And over the 5 years, we have helped thousands of listeners, literally thousands of listeners, to educate them about checking building codes and different contractors. Now, we also talk up at WPSL. We do, St. Lucie County has their contractor licensing board where they reprimand contractors or businesses for doing unethical or illegal activities. And we also talk about that on WPSL. Now, the WPSL show is on Thursday at 6 p.m. and obviously here WSTU Tuesday mornings at 10 a.m. And then we have our other stations that are up in Vero Beach is on Waxy 107.9, and Waxy 1370 AM is our station, Real Estate on the Air, that is part of the Treasure Coast Radio Network. So we're going to have all kinds of more great information. We're going to be talking with Kirk a little bit more, and we're going to hear from a word from our sponsors. But you're listening to Comfort Time Live. Tom Platania here on WSTU 1450, and we'll be right back.
Elite Electric.
We can do it.
Elite Electric.
There's nothing to it.
Elite Electric.
Ooh, amazing.
Elite Electric.
Woogie, 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 woogie. Elite Electric specializes in all of your electrical needs, from security lighting to surge protection and everything in between. How do you think they got their name? Elite Electric. Elite Electric has been family-owned and operated on the Treasure Coast since 1988, and they're recommended by Comfort Time Live. Visit online at eliteelectricandair.com and learn more about their services. Elite Electric. Service today. Proud sponsor of Comfort Time Live every Thursday evening at 6:05 on WPSL 1590.
No matter what you want, just pick up your phone, say, come on, Elite.
And we'll get the job done.
We can do it.
Elite Electric.
There's nothing to it.
Elite Electric.
Known for helping you keep that spark, now they'll help you keep cool. Elite Electric and Air, the official air conditioning sponsor of Comfort Time Live, has provided the best in heating and cooling customer service since 1988. If your electric bill is costing you more than 12 cents per square foot under air, you may be overpaying the utility company. Elite Electric and Air can help put that cash back in your pocket. Call Elite Electric and Air with 24-hour service. Dial 340-3797. That's 340-3797.
You are listening to WSTU, Stewart, Jensen Beach, Hope Sound, Martin County's Heritage Station.
All right, you're back listening to Comfort Time Live, a new Tuesday show here at 10 o'clock hour on WSTU. I'm Tom Platania. Now, I want to touch base a little bit. You folks are listening to me and probably saying, okay, well, what is Tom's qualifications for being able to sit here and talk to us about this, about our homes? Well, I'll tell you a little bit about my background. I've been in the construction industry for over 28 years. I am still a licensed. That's that's my new language.
It's the 1% language right there.
That's exactly it. That's why I'm not an AM listener. No. I am a licensed air conditioning contractor still. I had my own company at one time, but decided that I felt the education side of the business was better suited for me. I didn't quite like dealing with technicians at 2 o'clock in the morning, not answering their phones or being drunk, or I just get tired of that type of business. So I decided to get onto the educational side. So I am a continuing education provider for the state of Florida. I have a course, an 8-hour course that was approved for profit and loss, because I found that businesses, any business, it doesn't matter what the business is, the people that start the businesses, 90% of them start the businesses from working from the ground up. They start like a air conditioning technician or a roofer or a plumber or any of these businesses, is they start as employees and they work their way up. So they have the knowledge to know how to turn the screw. I know how to turn that screw. I know how to figure out how this thing works and how it doesn't work. So I decide that I want to open up my business. Well, the business that I've been working for charges $250. Well, when I open up my own business, I'm a smaller guy. I'm going to charge $200 for it. But the problem is that I haven't stopped to understand how a business runs. I don't understand the business side of the business. So what I decided to do is, instead of teaching people how to technically fix things, which I still have the ability to do that, I'm a proctor for an organization called NATE, North American Technicians Excellence. So I can actually teach technicians how to fix things and how to do things properly. But I decided that I wanted to help focus on businesses and educate them about how to properly take care of customers. It's a two-way street. We as business owners have to earn customers' trust, and customers have to earn our trust as well. We have the right as a business to fire a customer, and a customer has the right to fire us. So we have to work interchangeably to make this happen. So over the years, I've worked for two of the largest air conditioning manufacturers in the world. I've owned my own air conditioning company. I have a consulting business that works with small to mid-sized businesses and teaches them the business side, the operational side, the financial side, how to market their businesses better. And 5 years ago, I had the opportunity to share a spotlight with a gentleman from WPSL who had a show for the Chamber of Commerce. The show ended up being great, and from that point on, we decided to start Comfort Time Live. And we have just grown by leaps and bounds over the years. I mean, we're on iHeartRadio and YouTube and Ustream and Blog Talk, and I mean, we have so many, tens and tens of thousands of listeners, but we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for our listeners sending us information and asking for, I'm getting ready to sell my house. This is my situation. Can you get an expert on the show that could help answer some questions for me? Because I guarantee you, whatever question you have, someone else out there, multiple people out there, have the same question as you. And you can give us a call here at the studio, 772-220-WSTU. That's 9788, 220-9788. So what we want to do is we want to focus on that. And I've grown. I'm actually getting ready to get my own real estate license here. So I take my test on the 20th. And that's been a challenge. And I just wanted to kind of throw that into the mix as being part of Comfort Time Live, so that we can accurately talk about and discuss a lot more things that have to do with the home. And as a licensed real estate agent at the time, which I'm not now, but I'll have the ability and the knowledge and the legality to be able to discuss things and help educate our listeners more about air conditioning, about roofing and building, and just anything you can think of, and also have an expert guest. But networking events have been the backbone of Comfort Time Live as well. And that's why I'm really happy to have Kirk here, because this is another great opportunity. A lot of our expert guests, 90% of our expert guests we get from going to networking events, because we have the chance. I have two young ladies that work with me who help me with the networking. We have Heidi Condon, and we have Kimla Simone. And I've known Kim for 10 years, Kimla, and for 10 years I've called her Kim. And found out just recently that her name was Kim La. It's just that I just say Kim because it confuses people. But What is it about networking events, Kurt, that make it so special for people and make it so, I guess you could say, productive?
I would say that it's based on building that relationship. And also, I'd like to stress that we have a giver's gain attitude. So at some networking events, there may be some people that just throw cards at you. But at the networking events that I like to go to and like to have is people are coming up to you saying, how can I help you? In fact, when I meet on a one-on-one networking event, and by the way, Tom and I and Heidi met at a networking event.
Yeah.
So with the proofs in the pudding. But we'll sit down, I'll sit down with somebody and I'll just listen for the first 10, 15 minutes. I'll say, tell me about who you're trying to reach. And it's not unusual for me to get at least 4 or 5 referrals for them. So when I go back home, I'm sending them people that they can connect with.
You said a key word that I think a lot of us miss, the word listen.
Exactly. We got 2 ears and
one mouth. That's
and
exactly. Now, even though some of our mouths are bigger than others.
and I'm constantly struggling with that. But I've learned the more you listen and the more you focus on that person's needs, the better it's going to help them. And that's the case. Often I'll leave a networking one-on-one and people will say, you barely told me anything about you. And I said, that's because I'm focusing on what you're doing.
Exactly. That's why we're here.
Yeah.
We're not here for me. We're here for you.
Yeah.
And now, if you'd like to know more, ask me some questions. I'll be more than happy to offer that to you.
Exactly. And that's the whole thing about building that relationship. That's what I got on my cards, event promotions that build relationships.
I like that.
As I mentioned earlier, people are going to do business with who they know, like, and trust.
Yep. And some of these networking events I go to, like you mentioned, they're very impersonal. And we did a very large networking event just recently, and the issue I have with some of them is, we have to find a way that we're going to a networking event that is there a way that everybody can know about everybody.
Yes. In fact, that's one of the reasons I formed Kirkwork networking events where all we do is network.
Right.
Nothing against how other people do networking events, but at my events, what we try to do is we cut out all the other stuff that people do.
Right.
It's just networking.
Right.
Think of Seinfeld, the show about nothing.
Yeah.
We're all about networking.
So which one are you?
So
are you Elaine or Kramer or
probably Jerry?
Jerry.
But when
I'm Kramer.
Yeah, well,
no, I'm probably George Costanza.
Yeah. When you come to my networking events, you won't get any 50-50s, or there won't be any door prizes. There won't be any.
That it's great, but I feel pressured when I walk in the door and somebody hands you this roll and shoves it in your face and give me money. I really feel pressured.
Yeah. Well, what you do at our networking events, you'll just talk to people like you and I are sitting here talking.
Yeah.
But you have more time to get to know each other.
Yeah.
You'll build more relationships, and that will lead to more business.
Yeah.
Even the sponsors, they're not allowed to give presentations. Sponsors, I have them out there with people getting to know.
Good.
They can set up a table if they want, but they can't be behind it.
Now, how can listeners, if listeners as consumers, and of course businesses, if they wanted to go to a networking event, and I tell you, it's you really don't think about it, ladies and gentlemen, but from a consumer's point of view, a networking event is just a plethora of businesses that you can have a chance to interact with to see, is he the right fit for me and
or
what
she.
I want to do, or she. Exactly. I mean, you'd be amazed at how many different businesses are at these networking events, and you're definitely not going to be inundated when you go to them. But can you imagine if I needed a cabinet maker, or I needed someone to do my garage door, or you get involved in these networking events and find out one that suits your need, and go to that networking event, and you would be amazed at the information that you would come back with to be able to make an educated decision.
You also save a lot of money too.
Oh shit, they're free.
Well, not only that, but I needed to buy a car, and it just so happens that one of my sponsors, am I allowed to mention?
No.
Okay. Well, one of my sponsors actually saved me about $3,000 on a car on a Blue Book bag. That's because we had the relationship.
Right.
And the service was just outstanding.
Excellent.
And anytime I need something, people call me up constantly. Kirk, who do I go to?
Excellent. Networking events like that. Now, we do have some great sponsors on our show, and as you heard from one of our sponsors, United Water Restoration has been with us for a while, and we have another great sponsor. We have Elite Electric and Air that has been with us for over a year and a half. Elite Electric and Air has been one of our sponsors and really helping to promote and to educate, and the the difference about the sponsors that we have on our show, which help Comfort Time Live keep going, is I'm very picky about, with the exception of Kurt, I'm very picky. I'm teasing.
Thanks,
I'm very picky about the companies that we bring on. The young ladies that work with me, who we actually have one of them on the line with us right now. Hello, Miss Heidi.
Good morning.
How are you, young lady?
Well, I'm doing just fine. I'm really interested in the show today. I know it's the launch, and so I wanted to make sure that I listened, and I wanted to add a little bit to what Kirk was saying about networking.
Well, you're part of the show. I mean, you, as far as I'm concerned, you're pretty much the show. I'm just the ugly guy sitting behind the microphone, chit-chatting.
I can't argue with that.
Of course you couldn't. Of course you couldn't. But what I stress to the ladies that work with me is they have to be solid companies. I want backgrounds done on these people. I want to find out if there's anything unethical that they're doing, and I will not have them on my show unless they are. However, it is still always your responsibility as the listener, as the consumer, and I'll preference this with saying the number one way people are scammed are through referral businesses. Let me repeat that. Referral businesses are the number one reason people are scammed. And the reason why is these people have learned that if I can get in the door with one person and do a great job, they're going to refer me. And when I do that, you're going to let your guard down. Right, Heidi? If your
right.
next door neighbor recommend, well, you know now because you've been with me for a while, so I talk about this, but if your next door neighbor recommends somebody for you to use, well, Joe used them. He's got to be great. So I don't do background checks on him. I don't check his licenses. I don't check his drug testing. I don't check any of that stuff. I just let him do his thing.
Absolutely, and that you fall into that category of the, so and so recommended him, so I thought he was okay, and then there's so many things that happen at that point that's a domino effect. You don't get your work done correctly. You have strained relationships with whoever it is that recommended him or referred him, and it's just a difficult thing that you get into. If you just take care of yourself, you make sure that you do all those checks yourself, it makes it so that responsibility comes back on you. You have no one to blame except for you.
And you know what? Some of us specifically don't check because we want to be able to have that scapegoat. Say, well, I heard about it on the radio, and well, you have to. And I tell everybody is that even though I have recommendations of companies that we talk about and sponsors, I still always say that company has to be a good fit for you, and you have to make that educated decision. But Elite Electric and Air, as you hear, the sponsorship, have been with us for a long time. They do any kind of electrical things you have. They do electrical inspections, and that's very important because just recently, United Water Restoration actually took care of a house that it was a fire, and it started with an electrical issue in the attic. And I guarantee that it had something to do with an improper connection or faulty wire somehow. And so I tell you, having electrical inspections done are a good thing. Plus, having your air conditioning tune up is a great thing, and you'll hear their phone number live. But it sounds like Heidi, you had a question for Kirk, didn't you?
Yeah. Before you move on from that, it's funny that you should mention that because I had Elite Electric out to my house, and the gentleman said to me, "Have you ever had an electrical inspection done on your house?" And I said, well, "What is that?" And I have had a tune-up on my air conditioning faithfully for the 10 years that I've owned my house, but I have never had my electrical done. So it was like, wow, I think maybe I should have the wires looked at, because let's face it, your attic is really hot. You have wires going through there. You never know what's going to be going on in your attic. So electrical inspection is very, very important. I didn't realize it until he educated me, which, again, would never have known that unless I went to work for Tom Platania.
And
So-
if you want, ladies and gentlemen, you can Google Comfort Time Live. You can Google Tom Platania, and you will not find one negative thing about our company, about myself. And when you Google either one of those, the first 4 pages pop up. And because we have been in the community for so long, and we have helped thousands of listeners and consumers out there, and with Heidi on board and Kimla, I tell you, it's we're just taking this to the next level. I mean, we want to be an internet, not a national. That's small. We want to be an international consumer advocate.
All right, now Kirk, I want to give Kirk his time there. So Kirk, I just want to touch on the whole family networking events that you have, because I think those are really great.
Oh, I'm glad you asked about that. The
We
way
just got a couple minutes left. So
Okay, I'll speed it up. I had so many people come to my events. We start them at 4 and go to 6, and a lot of the parents were leaving early. And I said to them, I said, where are you going? I got to go home to my kids and my husband and prepare meals. So I said, well, how about if I entertain your kids? And they thought I was crazy. So I came up with a concept where people could actually bring their kids to a networking event. And I call it a family-friendly networking event. And we have from the stroller all the way up to like 18 or 20. And they're really, really popular. In fact, I get some mothers and fathers who says, I can't get out to the other networking events. Thanks for letting me bring my kids. And the kids are just great. They're a conversation starter. I'm a single guy with a dog, and I say, well, your kids are kind of like my dog. Everybody will come up and talk to you constantly. And, if you get a group of adults and you don't have kids around, no one will say a word.
do the kids go in a separate room?
No, they get right out there and play. And
Okay.
we entertain them. We did it at the Children's Museum. And
okay,
they just
well,
played,
I can imagine
but
that.
they still came up, and it was a conversation piece.
Excellent.
And it just made everybody warm and feel very welcome and build, as I said, better relationships with each other.
Perfect. I like those networking events. So, well, it was great having Kirk here on the from Kirk Work here on the station with us today on our inaugural show, and also the lovely and talented Heidi. Hey, great Photoshop on that picture on Facebook this morning. That was or yesterday.
Hey, thanks.
Thank you, Heidi. I really enjoyed meeting you.
Thank you, Kirk. I'm glad you were on today. And John Erickson as well. He's a really
Awesome.
interesting guy. So,
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank everyone for listening into our first Comfort Time Live here on WSTU. We've been on WPSL for 5 years. Remember to go to ComfortTimeLive.com. That's 2 T's, Comfort Time Live, and you can watch the archives, all the shows, and find out what's a good reason to tune into WSTU Tuesday mornings to listen to Comfort Time Live. I'm Tom Platania. We will see you next Tuesday right here on WSTU 1450. Have a great day.